The Wacom Cintiq 16 is special in the Cintiq lineup because it's the smallest tablet with VESA mount compatibility. And if you don't know what a VESA mount is, it's these 4 holes on the back of many monitors or TVs that lets you connect it to many other VESA compatible mounting solutions like a wall bracket or a monitor stand. I think that it's great that the Cintiq 16 is VESA compatible because in its normal position down on the desk, you spend a lot of time just leaning over it, and it's not great for your back or neck. It's important to note that the Cintiq 16's VESA size is 75mm, and that refers to the distance between these 4 holes on the back of the Cintiq. So when you're looking for something to mount the Cintiq on, you should be looking for something that has a 75mm VESA mounting bracket, because there's lots of different VESA sizes like 75, 100mm, 200mm, 400mm, so on. With that said, the first thing we're going to look at is Wacom's official solution, which is their Wacom Adjustable Stand. And this is made specifically for the Wacom Cintiq 16 at $169 Australian dollars. And the way it works is you screw on the included VESA adapter plate, and the Cintiq stand itself screws into the VESA adapter plate. It's pretty solid, well built. It doesn't feel like it's going to break anytime soon. You get 19 to 68 degrees of tilt adjustment, and this is in stages, so it clicks into place at several different angles. I like this adjustable stand, but my issue with it is that it doesn't offer much in terms of height. So your Cintiq's still going to be sitting very low on the desk, and you end up having to lean over it anyway. And because of its position low on the desk, I personally don't like using it as a dual monitor setup. So if I use it this way, I tend to just have my Cintiq mirroring my desktop, so I don't have to keep looking up and down. One extremely professional tip I have for getting some extra height is to just put the Cintiq with the adjustable stand on top of some boxes. The second VESA mounting option for the Cintiq 16 is using a monitor stand, the kind of monitor stand that sits on your desk. And really any generic monitor stand with a 75mm VESA bracket will do. This is a relatively inexpensive option. You can find decent monitor stands for about $50 Australian dollars, and I found that with monitor stands you can usually adjust the height, the tilt, swivel, and even rotate your Cintiq around and around if you want to. One of the good things about mounting your Cintiq 16 on a monitor stand is that it turns the Cintiq into a viable second monitor, and it's very, very stable. I find that I can draw on it and it doesn't budge, it doesn't wobble, it just stays in place. It's quite sturdy. And these monitor stands usually have built-in cable management as well, so it helps keep your desk a little bit neater. What I don't like about these monitor stands is that they're usually really heavy. They're really hard to move about your desk unless you've got massive biceps. All the monitor stands I've used have had really tall minimum heights, and this is great when I want to draw on the Cintiq and it's right in front of me at a good height, so I can just draw like I'm drawing on an easel. But if I want to look at the monitor and the Cintiq sitting in the middle of my desk, I can't move it down, so I've got to look around or try and move it out of the way, and as I mentioned before, it's really heavy, so that's hard to do. Here's something that I think is important to remember if you're using your Cintiq on a monitor stand. When you're adjusting the Cintiq's tilt or height, make sure to loosen the appropriate parts and try and apply pressure on the stand itself. Don't try and force the Cintiq to position because the Cintiq has a plastic back. So just be careful with your Cintiq when you're adjusting it. And the third and final option I have on my list is a monitor arm, specifically the CBS Ollin monitor arm. And the reason I'm talking specifically about this monitor arm is because it has no minimum weight requirements, whereas every other monitor arm on the market has minimum weight requirements of around 3 kilograms. And the Cintiq 16 comes in at only 1.9 kilograms, so if you try and mount something that's too light for a monitor arm, it will just continuously float upward. The Ollin is pretty expensive at 250 Australian dollars, but it gives you a lot of flexibility with your setup. Like the monitor stand, you can adjust height, tilt, swivel, rotation with a lot more freedom. And this means that you can have your Cintiq up high, drawing like an easel, but just easily move it out of the way when you don't need it, turning it into a viable second monitor. However, with all that flexibility, you lose a bit of stability. Just applying pressure to the Cintiq will make it sink or wobble, shake a little bit, and that's not the best. One thing you can do to counteract this is to place something solid under the Cintiq while you're drawing. I would just rest the Cintiq on the top of a bottle or a cup, and I found that this added a lot of stability and made it much easier to draw. I wouldn't recommend using the monitor arm if you've got a tabletop that isn't very solid, like one of the IKEA particle board or chipboard tables, because when you mount a monitor arm on a tabletop, it applies a lot of pressure on one spot, and if your table isn't solid, it could just break. I've spoken to many customer support people from monitor arm companies, and some of them say that I can use a Cintiq 16 with monitor arms that have 3 kilogram minimum weight requirements by adding weight plates. I've never tried it, but if that's something you want for some reason, it's a possibility. Great. All 3 VESA mounting options have their own pros and cons, so the right one for you depends on your situation. I personally use the Cintiq 16 with Wacom's Adjustable Stand, but that's because I don't generally look down at the Cintiq when I'm drawing. It's really just personal preference. So I hope this video has helped you, and if it did, you can support the channel by leaving a like or using one of the affiliate links in the description. Also, let me know in the comments which mount you think is the most fantastic. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.